In the year 2145, far beyond the Milky Way, in a remote section of space called Andari Sector 7, the Galactic Council gathered urgently to discuss a small blue planet they had been observing for many years. The planet, known to its inhabitants as Earth, had shown a rapid increase in technology, intelligence, and communication, and some council members feared that if left unchecked, humanity could become a serious threat to the balance of the galaxy. The council chambers buzzed with tension as species from across the stars argued fiercely. Some argued that Earth was still too primitive to matter, while others warned that humans were unpredictable and clever, capable of developing weapons or strategies no one could anticipate. Commander Virek, a veteran of countless interstellar campaigns and the leader of the warship Oblivion Star, received his orders with a mixture of pride and caution. His ship was the most advanced in the Council's fleet, equipped with stealth technology, high-speed engines, and scanning systems capable of detecting even the smallest signs of life or energy. Alongside the Oblivion Star, 5 scout ships, Shadow Fang, Star Talon, Void Spear, Night Howl, and Eclipse Wing, were assigned to monitor Earth closely. Their mission was clear: observe quietly, gather information, and report back. Any threat would be dealt with immediately. As Virek prepared his fleet, he studied Earth from light years away, watching the planet rotate slowly, covered in oceans, forests, and sprawling cities. He could see tiny bursts of energy from human satellites and signals from their communication networks. To him, the humans seemed both fascinating and dangerous. Their rapid growth reminded him of other civilizations he had seen rise and fall in the galaxy. Some had ended in cooperation and others in destruction. The thought that humans might repeat history or even surpass other species weighed heavily on his mind. The council debated endlessly about what approach to take. Some members proposed sending a warning message, hoping to guide humanity peacefully. Others demanded immediate action to prevent a future conflict. Arguments became heated, voices rose, and some species even threatened to leave the council if their point of view was ignored. Virek, listening to these discussions, felt the responsibility of his task growing heavier. Every decision now could change the course of history for Earth and the galaxy. Meanwhile, the humans on Earth remained completely unaware of the attention they had drawn. They went about their daily lives, building cities, inventing new technologies, and dreaming of the stars. None of them knew that eyes far beyond their solar system were watching, analyzing their behavior, and calculating their potential. Even as humans celebrated achievements in science and culture, the Galactic Council quietly decided that Earth would be the next planet to examine in detail. The fleet was instructed to maintain a safe distance, to study without being noticed, and to remain ready for any sudden changes. Commander Virek gave his orders to his crew aboard the Oblivion Star. His voice was calm but firm as he explained the mission. Every sensor, every scanner, and every weapon system was checked and recalibrated. The scouts prepared to enter stealth mode, slipping silently through the vast emptiness of space. Their lights dimmed and engines adjusted to avoid detection. Every crew member knew the importance of patience and precision. The fate of Earth might depend on their careful observation. As the fleet moved closer to the solar system, the blue planet grew larger on their displays. Its oceans shimmered, cities glowed faintly in the night, and the signals of countless human activities filled the monitors. Virek felt a mixture of respect and caution. He could see why some council members had underestimated humans and why others feared them. The humans were small, fragile, and seemingly insignificant, yet their potential was enormous. The fleet slowed its approach, entering the final stage of reconnaissance, ready to witness humanity's growth firsthand. The council waited for the first detailed reports, discussions continuing in the background as Commander Virek and his crew prepared for what could be the most important mission of their careers. Every calculation, every observation, every small piece of information could tip the balance between cooperation and conflict. The blue planet Earth hung in space, innocent and unaware, while in the shadows of the stars, alien eyes watched, waited, and wondered what humanity might become. The warning had been issued, not with weapons, but with silent observation, and the story of humanity's first encounter with the galaxy was about to begin. On Earth, at a remote location high in the mountains of the Sierra Observatory, Dr. Lena Carter and her small team of scientists worked late into the night, scanning the skies for any unusual signals. Their instruments had been picking up strange patterns for weeks, signals that didn't match the natural movements of stars or satellites. Tonight, the signals became clearer, showing a rhythm, a code that suggested intelligence beyond human understanding. Lena stared at the screen, her heart racing. She had studied space for decades, but never seen anything like this. She quickly gathered her team, including Dr. Samuel Reyes and technician Mira Tan, to analyze the incoming signals. Every pulse of energy, every tiny fluctuation was recorded and compared to known cosmic phenomena. But nothing matched. The patterns seemed deliberate, almost like someone or something was trying to communicate. Lena knew that if this was true, it could be the most important discovery in human history. News of the mysterious signals reached the UN Space Defense Command, and soon Admiral Rajiv Kumar was called in to review the situation. He had spent his life preparing for unknown threats from space. Yet even he felt a shiver run down his spine as he studied the readings. The signals were intelligent, possibly from a civilization far more advanced than humans. The admiral ordered the highest level of alert while instructing his team to remain calm. Secrecy was crucial. The world was not ready for panic. Dr. Carter and her team worked tirelessly, decoding the signals, searching for any meaning. It was like trying to read an alien language with no reference point. But slowly, patterns began to emerge, small repetitions that suggested structure, perhaps even a basic message. The scientists realized they were receiving something extraordinary, a deliberate attempt at communication from beings far beyond Earth. Lena could barely contain her excitement. She knew that humanity's place in the universe might be about to change. Meanwhile, in the corridors of power, governments debated how to respond. Some wanted to announce the discovery publicly, believing that transparency would unite humanity. Others argued for caution, fearing that panic or misuse of information could bring chaos. Military strategists suggested preparing defenses, while scientists urged patience and study. Admiral Kumar tried to balance these voices, emphasizing careful observation and calm. Humanity needed to respond wisely, not with fear. As the signals continued, the scientists realized that the source seemed to be approaching, not physically, but in terms of communication. The pulses contained mathematical patterns, hints of technology far beyond Earth's capability. It was clear that whoever was sending them had already been observing humans for a long time, perhaps decades. The thought was thrilling and terrifying at the same time. Humans were no longer alone, and the galaxy had taken notice. The media remained unaware of the discovery. Only the top levels of the UN and scientific community knew the truth. Lena and her team continued to work day and night, sometimes forgetting to eat or sleep. Every moment could bring a breakthrough. Dr. Reyes suggested using Earth's own satellites to reply, a small attempt to show intelligence and presence. But Lena reminded him that any action could change the entire situation. Even the smallest signal could be interpreted in ways they couldn't imagine. Back in the Andari Sector 7, Commander Varek's fleet detected faint bursts from Earth's communication satellites. Unaware that the humans were observing and possibly responding, the Oblivion Star's sensors noted activity and reported back to the Galactic Council, confirming that humans were beginning to realize something was happening. The Council debated what this meant. Some feared humans might act recklessly. Others believed this was the first step toward peaceful contact. The galaxy waited, silent and tense, for Earth to make its next move. For humans, every day was filled with discovery and anxiety. Dr. Carter looked out at the night sky, feeling small yet proud. Humanity had reached a point where the stars were no longer unreachable. Their intelligence, curiosity, and courage had drawn attention, and now they were being watched. The thought of alien civilizations observing their world was both awe-inspiring and frightening. Yet, it also sparked hope. Perhaps humans could show the galaxy that they were more than just a small, primitive species. Captain Elena Torres of the research ship Horizon Light was informed of the signals and began preparations to help coordinate a response if needed. The ship, equipped with advanced communication arrays and scientific instruments, would be humanity's first attempt to reach out. She trained her crew to remain calm, precise, and observant. Knowing that every decision could have galactic consequences, humans were stepping into a stage far larger than they had ever imagined, and the future of their species might hinge on these first cautious actions. Night after night, the signals continued, drawing humanity closer to the realization that the universe was filled with intelligence, that Earth was no longer alone, and while fear and uncertainty lingered, so did wonder and excitement. For the first time, humans understood that their story was part of a much larger tale, one that spanned the stars and connected them to civilizations beyond imagining. The galaxy was watching, and humanity was learning to respond. Commander Varek watched Earth carefully from the bridge of the Oblivion Star, his eyes scanning the planet's surface through advanced sensors. He could see the faint glow of human cities at night, tiny bursts of energy from satellites, and the movement of countless vehicles and aircraft. Every detail fascinated him. Humans were small and fragile, yet their activity showed intelligence, organization, and creativity. Something about them reminded him of civilizations he had seen rise and fall in other sectors of the galaxy. Some had grown strong through cooperation, others destroyed themselves through conflict, and he wondered which path humans would follow. The crew aboard the Oblivion Star and its accompanying scout ships, Shadow Fang, Star Talon, Void Spear, Night Howl, and Eclipse Wing, watched silently as Earth rotated below them. Their advanced sensors recorded everything, from power plants and communication networks to patterns of light that indicated human gatherings. Even the Threxians among Varek's crew, known for their distrust of small species, began to acknowledge that humans were unusual, unpredictable, and clever. The Council had not seen anything like this in centuries, and Varek knew that careful observation was essential. Back on Earth, Captain Elena Torres aboard the research vessel Horizon Light prepared her crew for any unexpected events. The ship hovered in low orbit, equipped with sensitive instruments to monitor the strange signals, and trained for rapid response if alien activity became obvious. Torres had gathered a small team of scientists and engineers, including Dr. Lena Carter, who now worked closely with the ship's crew to analyze incoming energy patterns. Every night, they recorded and decoded the pulses from space, hoping to understand if someone was trying to communicate or simply observing. Tensions rose both on Earth and in the stars. Humans debated whether to reveal the discovery publicly or keep it secret. Military advisors argued that the planet must prepare defenses, while scientists urged patience, suggesting that any hasty move could provoke disaster. Captain Torres organized simulations and drills aboard Horizon Light, training the crew to respond to a wide range of scenarios. They practiced sending signals, testing the ship's sensors, and preparing contingency plans. Every crew member aware that a single mistake could be catastrophic. Commander Varek noticed Earth's communication networks were active, sending bursts of information back into space. He suspected the humans were aware of something, perhaps intelligent life observing them. The Council had warned him that humans could be dangerous because of their creativity and unpredictability. Now, he saw signs of that unpredictability, tiny flashes of energy that suggested Earth was ready to respond if challenged. Varek ordered the fleet to maintain stealth, observing quietly without revealing their presence. Every observation was recorded for the Council's review. As days passed, Captain Torres and Dr. Carter discovered more patterns in the signals. They realized the pulses contained a mathematical structure, hints of technology far beyond their current understanding. Each new discovery brought excitement and fear. Humanity was no longer isolated, and the possibility of alien contact loomed closer. Dr. Carter noted that the humans' own ingenuity, combined with their curiosity, might be what attracted the attention of the Council in the first place. It was a delicate balance. One wrong move could invite hostility, but careful intelligence could earn respect. Meanwhile, discussions continued among the Galactic Council. Some species worried that humans might act recklessly if they discovered the fleet. Others argued that humans had shown potential and that careful guidance could turn them into valuable allies. Commander Varek sent frequent reports emphasizing that humans were intelligent and resourceful, but also naive. Their actions were unpredictable, yet fascinating. The Council remained divided, watching closely, debating the risks and rewards. On Earth, tension was palpable. Every day brought new discoveries. Captain Torres prepared to send a cautious signal, testing humanity's ability to communicate with the unknown. Dr. Carter's team carefully calculated the timing, frequency, and content, understanding that even a small message could be interpreted in many ways. The humans were learning patience, observation, and strategy, qualities that might decide their future in the galaxy. Night after night, the blue planet rotated beneath the watchful eyes of the alien fleet. Humans worked tirelessly to understand the signals, not knowing they were being observed. Varric marveled at the humans' resilience, ingenuity, and determination. The crew aboard the scout ships whispered among themselves, wondering if they had underestimated Earth. Could a small, fragile species like humans truly survive and thrive among the stars? The balance between curiosity and caution, between fear and respect, hung over both sides. Commander Varric knew the next steps would define the future of humanity. The humans had shown they could observe, learn, and act intelligently, but would they understand the gravity of the situation? Both Earth and the Council waited silently, the tension thick and electric, every moment filled with anticipation. The story of humanity's first encounter with the galaxy was unfolding, one careful observation at a time. Dr. Lena Carter and Captain Elena Torres knew that observing the strange signals from space was not enough. Humans had to respond, even in a small way, to show intelligence and awareness. The team gathered aboard the Horizon Light, the research vessel orbiting Earth. Its hull reflected the soft glow of the planet below, while inside, scientists and engineers worked feverishly to prepare a transmission that could reach the distant watchers. Every calculation, every decision mattered, for the slightest mistake could be misinterpreted and provoke danger. The message had to be clear, simple, and meaningful. Lena suggested including the basics of human civilization, from science to culture, art, music, and mathematics. Each detail was chosen carefully to show both intelligence and empathy. The humans wanted to convey that they were capable of understanding the universe, but also that they were not hostile. Captain Torres oversaw the technical side, ensuring that the Horizon Light's communication array could amplify the signal far enough to reach the Andari Sector 7, where Commander Varric and the Galactic Council were observing. Scientists worked day and night, encoding the transmission into a series of pulses and bursts. Each pulse carried a tiny piece of information, a picture, a formula, a sound. The transmission was designed not just as data, but as a story of humanity, showing creativity, problem-solving, and the ability to cooperate. Miratan, the technician, explained that the signal would appear as a pattern to the aliens, a pattern that could be recognized as deliberate thought, not random noise. Every team member felt the weight of their task, realizing that this was humanity's first real attempt to communicate with a galactic civilization. Captain Torres held a meeting with her crew, emphasizing precision and caution. They had to send the signal at the right moment, when Earth's satellites could amplify it, and when the risk of interference was minimal. Every second counted, and the crew followed the plan with careful coordination. Even a minor error could distort the message and make humans appear unintelligent or threatening. Dr. Carter reminded them that the aliens were watching, and they would interpret the signal with intelligence far beyond human comprehension. When the transmission finally began, the ship's systems hummed with energy. A series of pulses shot into space, traveling faster than light toward the Andari Sector 7. The signal carried images of Earth's oceans, forests, mountains, and cities, alongside diagrams of human achievements like electricity, medicine, and technology. Music waves and mathematical sequences were included, demonstrating logic, creativity, and culture. It was simple yet profound, showing the essence of humanity without overwhelming the recipients. As the transmission traveled, the crew watched the screens anxiously, waiting for any sign that it had been received. They could only hope that the aliens understood the intention behind the message, that they would see humans as intelligent, curious, and peaceful. Captain Torres reminded everyone that patience was essential. The signal might take years to reach the fleet, and any immediate response was unlikely, but the act itself was historic. Humanity was no longer silent in the universe. They were speaking. On Earth, the news remained classified. Only the ship's crew and select scientists knew of the attempt. Lena Carter reflected on the courage required to send the signal. Humans had always looked to the stars with wonder, but now they were reaching out, risking the unknown. It was an act of bravery, curiosity, and hope. The transmission was not a weapon, nor a threat, but a hand extended across light years, inviting contact and understanding. In the distant Andari Sector 7, Commander Virek's sensors detected the first pulses, faint at first but unmistakably deliberate. The crew of the Oblivion Star watched in silence as the signal unfolded. They could see the patterns, the repeated sequences, the intelligence behind each pulse. Even Lieutenant Zyren, a veteran of countless missions, felt a sense of awe. These were not random transmissions from a primitive species. Humans had shown thought, creativity, and awareness. The fleet slowed its approach, waiting as the signal continued. Commander Virek transmitted preliminary reports back to the Galactic Council, emphasizing the humans' ingenuity and potential. The Council members listened carefully, some skeptical, others intrigued. The pulse patterns suggested intelligence, but also emotion, a subtle sense of humanity that was difficult for alien species to fully comprehend. The message, though simple, carried the weight of an entire species reaching out to the stars, a quiet yet powerful statement that humanity was ready to be noticed. Captain Torres and Dr. Carter watched the monitors. Exhausted but exhilarated, they had done it. Humanity had spoken, and now the universe was listening. Every crew member felt the gravity of their actions, knowing that the first human transmission into space could change everything. For the first time, humans had made contact, not physically, but with words, images, and ideas. And somewhere across the galaxy, eyes, sensors, and minds were paying attention, waiting to decide what this small blue planet was capable of. Commander Virek stared at the glowing readouts aboard the Oblivion Star as the human transmission arrived. The series of pulses, images, and sounds streamed through the ship's sensors. Each detail was carefully examined by the crew, who had never seen anything like it. Lieutenant Zyren, Virek's second-in-command, pointed out the mathematical sequences, noting their complexity and precision. The images of Earth's oceans, forests, cities, and human technology impressed even the most skeptical officers. It was clear that this species, though small and fragile, had intelligence beyond what they had expected. The fleet's scouts, Shadowfang, Star Talon, Void Spear, Night Howl, and Eclipse Wing, hovered silently around the Oblivion Star, recording every pulse, every fluctuation of energy. The crew could feel the tension, realizing that humanity had made the first move in this silent galactic encounter. Commander Virek called a meeting with his officers, stressing the importance of careful observation and analysis. They had to understand the message fully before reporting back to the Galactic Council. Any misinterpretation could lead to disastrous consequences. As the signal continued, the crew began to recognize patterns. The humans were not just sending random information, but a carefully constructed message to show who they were. Their mathematics, art, music, and technology revealed both creativity and logic, qualities that were rare even among galactic civilizations. Virek's sensors detected subtle emotional content, something difficult for alien species to measure. Yet the humans' message carried a sense of hope, curiosity, and peaceful intent. It was unlike any other first contact scenario in history. Lieutenant Zyren marveled at the humans' ingenuity. Whispering to other crew members, he said that they had underestimated this species. Their ability to combine emotion and logic, creativity and precision, made them unpredictable and fascinating. Even the Threxian observers, known for their caution and suspicion of smaller species, began to admit that humans might be worth further study. Virek recorded all findings and prepared preliminary reports for the Council, emphasizing both the potential and unpredictability of this small blue planet. Meanwhile, the humans aboard Horizon Light continued to monitor the transmission, unaware that their signal had already reached alien eyes. Dr. Lena Carter and Captain Elena Torres watched the readings with excitement and fear. Their message had been sent into the void, and now it was being received and interpreted. Every pulse, every image, every note of music was being analyzed by a civilization far more advanced than Earth. The stakes could not have been higher. And yet, for the first time, humans had taken control of their place in the universe. The Galactic Council convened shortly after receiving Commander Virek's initial report. Members from countless star systems debated the meaning of the human transmission. Some worried that humans were too unpredictable, that their creativity and emotional intelligence might make them dangerous. Others argued that humans showed qualities that could enrich the galaxy. Their ability to innovate, adapt, and understand abstract concepts suggested a potential for cooperation, not destruction. Commander Varric spoke in favor of observation rather than attack, urging patience and highlighting that the humans had made the first move with intelligence and care. As the fleet lingered near Earth, Varric ordered his crew to continue monitoring, noting the smallest signs of human activity. The Oblivion Star's sensors recorded city lights, energy emissions, and patterns in communication networks. Every piece of information was logged and analyzed, building a profile of humanity's intelligence, capabilities, and potential. Varric realized that the humans were learning as much from observation as they were from their own signals. They were cautious, precise, and careful, showing a respect for the unknown that few species ever demonstrated in first contact. Back on Earth, Captain Torres prepared her crew for the possibility of a response. They trained simulations, ran calculations, and discussed protocols. Knowing that any sudden contact could change everything, Dr. Carter analyzed data from their own transmission, hoping to understand if it had been interpreted as intended. For the first time, humans were not just observers of space. They were participants, actively shaping the way a galactic civilization would see them. Commander Varric continued to review the human transmission, noting its depth, sophistication, and subtle emotional content. It became clear that this species, though small, had the intelligence, creativity, and courage to stand among the stars. The fleet slowed further, adopting a cautious approach as the Council debated the next steps. Even those who had once favored destruction began to question whether humanity was a threat at all. Perhaps this small planet, so fragile and seemingly insignificant, could become a valued member of the galaxy. By the time the transmission ended, the Oblivion Star crew had completed their initial analysis. They had observed intelligence, empathy, and resourcefulness, qualities that made humans unpredictable but also remarkable. Commander Varric submitted his full report to the Council, recommending continued observation and dialogue, not aggression. Somewhere in the distance, across millions of light years, the humans' message had changed the course of events, showing that even a single transmission from a tiny blue planet could capture the attention and respect of the galaxy. The Galactic Council gathered again in the Andari Sector 7 chambers, their discussion more serious than ever. The human transmission had arrived, and it had left an impression far beyond what any council member had expected. Philosophers, scientists, and military leaders debated the meaning of the message. Some argued that humans were dangerous because they were unpredictable, while others suggested that their intelligence, creativity, and emotional understanding made them fascinating and potentially valuable allies. Commander Varric's report emphasized that humans had shown both caution and courage, qualities that deserved respect. For the first time, some members of the Council began to see Earth not as a threat, but as a unique opportunity. The Threxians, known for their strict caution and skepticism, admitted that humans' ability to combine emotion and logic was rare and potentially beneficial to the galaxy. The philosopher Merath spoke passionately about the humans' creativity. Their art, music, and mathematics were not only clever, but also carried emotion, something many alien species struggled to understand. This combination of intelligence and feeling suggested a species capable of growth, adaptation, and cooperation. Commander Varric ordered his fleet to maintain a careful distance from Earth, keeping stealth systems active while continuing detailed observation. He encouraged his officers to study the humans' behavior closely, not just their technology or energy emissions, but their choices, interactions, and responses. The humans had sent a clear message showing intelligence and empathy, and Varric wanted to be certain that their next steps were guided by understanding rather than fear. Every observation, no matter how small, could change the Council's final decision about Earth. On Earth, Captain Elena Torres and her crew aboard the Horizon Light noticed subtle changes in the signals they had sent. Some of the pulses seemed to reflect back, faintly, as if the aliens were studying them carefully. Lena Carter and her team worked to interpret the patterns, hoping to understand the aliens' intentions. Every discovery brought both excitement and anxiety. The humans realized that they had captured the attention of a civilization far older and more advanced than themselves, and their next actions could decide whether contact would be peaceful or dangerous. Discussions among the council continued for weeks. The humans' message was examined by experts in communication, mathematics, and philosophy. The aliens noted that humans were resourceful and capable of understanding complex concepts quickly, but their unpredictability remained a concern. Virak reported that humans seemed cautious and deliberate, showing patience and intelligence, qualities that were rare even among galactic civilizations. The Council began to lean toward a decision to observe, not attack, recognizing that Earth might offer unique perspectives and insights if allowed to grow. Commander Virak personally recommended a cautious approach, arguing that humans had proven themselves capable of learning, reasoning, and communicating with intelligence and care. He emphasized that destruction was not only unnecessary, but could deny the galaxy a species with extraordinary potential. The Council listened, some still skeptical, but many intrigued by the humans' combination of innovation, emotion, and resilience. The decision shifted subtly from fear to curiosity, as members realized that humanity could become an ally rather than an enemy. Meanwhile, the Oblivion Star and its scout ships continued detailed monitoring, recording patterns of human activity, from the rotation of cities and energy use to communication pulses and cultural expressions. Every observation added to a growing profile of humanity. Virak noted that humans were cautious yet bold, curious yet careful, willing to reach out but aware of risk. This combination of traits suggested that humans could survive challenges and adapt to new circumstances, qualities that the Council highly valued. Back on Earth, the humans worked tirelessly, unaware of the Council's deliberations. Captain Torres trained her crew for possible contact scenarios, running simulations and preparing for signals from unknown civilizations. Dr. Carter studied the faint feedback from their own transmission, understanding that the humans' first attempt had already been noticed and analyzed. For the first time, humans were learning to think not only scientifically, but diplomatically, considering the intentions and reactions of another species. As the Council's perception of humans shifted, the fleet began to relax its posture, moving from a stance of caution mixed with suspicion to one of respectful observation. Commander Virak communicated back to the Council that humans had demonstrated remarkable qualities. Their curiosity, creativity, intelligence, and courage suggested a species that could contribute positively to galactic affairs. Even those who had favored aggression now hesitated, unsure that humans posed a real threat. Earth remained unaware, yet its position in the galaxy had begun to change. The Council had decided to pause to learn more, and to approach with curiosity rather than hostility. Humanity's first transmission had not only been received, but had shifted the perspective of an entire galactic alliance, from fear and suspicion to fascination and cautious respect. The humans had unknowingly taken the first step toward becoming recognized members of the galaxy, showing that even a small species from a tiny blue planet could inspire reflection, debate, and admiration across the stars. Earth remained calm on the surface, but beneath that calm, tension and anticipation ran high. Captain Elena Torres and her crew aboard the Horizon Light continued monitoring the skies, analyzing the faint pulses that might carry alien responses. Every crew member understood that their actions, small as they seemed, could affect humanity's first contact with an advanced galactic civilization. Dr. Lena Carter worked tirelessly alongside engineers and communications specialists, trying to detect patterns, signals, or any signs that their transmission had been noticed and interpreted correctly. Each new reading brought excitement, hope, and fear. Governments around the world, still unaware of the alien presence, prepared quietly for possible threats. Military planners discussed strategies and defensive measures, but most scientists urged patience, reminding leaders that humans had taken the first step by sending a careful, peaceful message. Captain Torres held daily briefings with her crew, emphasizing precision, discipline, and observation. They ran simulations for potential scenarios, training for everything from direct communication to emergency evasive maneuvers. Every decision was weighed carefully, understanding that a mistake could trigger misunderstanding or hostility. Meanwhile, in the Andari Sector 7, Commander Virek and his fleet continued their surveillance. The humans' cautious actions impressed him and his officers. Observing quietly, he noted their careful calculations, the precision in their communication attempts, and their patient study of the unknown. The humans were not reckless, and this suggested intelligence far beyond what many council members had initially expected. Virek reported these findings to the Galactic Council, emphasizing that humans' awareness and patience indicated potential for diplomacy rather than conflict. As days turned into weeks, the humans detected subtle changes in the background energy around Earth. Faint shifts in the signals hinted that the alien fleet might be adjusting their observation techniques. Dr. Carter speculated that the aliens were curious, studying how humans had responded to the initial transmission. Captain Torres prepared for the possibility of a reply, instructing her crew to be ready to observe, interpret, and respond carefully. Every action was cautious but deliberate, showing humans growing understanding of their position in the galaxy. On Earth, the tension between secrecy and disclosure created challenges. Leaders debated whether the public should be informed about the signals, fearing panic. Yet some argued that humanity needed to unite and prepare for the possibility of contact. Captain Torres reassured her crew that patience and careful observation were more important than immediate action. They continued monitoring the skies and the transmissions, slowly piecing together the evidence that their message had been noticed. Commander Virek observed humans' continued activity with growing respect. He noticed their ability to combine logic, emotion, and creativity, qualities that made humans unpredictable yet remarkable. Lieutenant Ziran remarked that humans' caution and ingenuity made them very different from other species the fleet had observed. The Oblivion Star and its scouts continued mapping energy signatures, communication bursts, and technological outputs, building a detailed profile of humanity's intelligence, adaptability, and resourcefulness. In secret labs aboard the Horizon Light, Dr. Carter decoded more of the faint patterns reflected back from space. The team realized that the aliens were studying, analyzing, and perhaps even communicating silently through indirect energy shifts. Every observation confirmed that humans had been noticed, that the galaxy was paying attention. Captain Torres reminded her crew that they were at the forefront of history, representing humanity for the first time beyond Earth, and every choice mattered. Across the galaxy, debates in the council grew more nuanced. Some council members now believed that humans could become valuable contributors to the galactic community. Their creativity, resilience, and intelligence made them unique. Others remained cautious, still unsure if humans' unpredictability might pose risks. Commander Virek continued advocating for patient observation, emphasizing that humans had not shown aggression, but had demonstrated remarkable potential. The Council agreed to hold off any decisions of aggression, instead focusing on learning more about humanity before taking further action. As the weeks continued, humanity began to realize that their first transmission had changed something fundamental. Captain Torres reflected that humans were no longer isolated observers, but participants, shaping the way a powerful civilization saw them. Dr. Carter felt a mixture of pride and awe, knowing that their careful actions had earned attention and respect. The crew trained, studied, and waited, aware that patience was as important as courage. Every moment was a lesson in diplomacy, intelligence, and the power of observation. The humans' calm determination and disciplined response created a ripple across space. Commander Virek reported that the humans were cautious, intelligent, and observant, qualities that suggested long-term survival and adaptability. The Galactic Council, impressed by humanity's conduct, decided to pause to continue observing quietly and to allow humans more time to demonstrate their intelligence and character. Earth remained unaware of the magnitude of these decisions, yet its position in the galaxy had already begun to change. Humanity's careful patience, courage, and intelligence had proven that even a small species could earn respect among the stars. Commander Virek's fleet hovered silently above Earth, the Oblivion Star and its scout ships monitoring the planet with careful precision. The Galactic Council had debated endlessly about humans, and finally, a decision had been made to open contact, though cautiously. The fleet prepared smaller ships, including the sleek Lightspire and the agile Dawn Chaser, to approach Earth's orbit and signal peaceful intentions. Every officer aboard the fleet understood the importance of this moment. The humans had proven themselves intelligent, patient, and capable of understanding the unknown, qualities rare among younger civilizations. On Earth, Captain Elena Torres and her crew aboard Horizon Light noticed subtle changes in the energy readings from space. The patterns suggested a deliberate approach, not aggression. Dr. Lena Carter analyzed the fluctuations, realizing that this could be the first true response from an alien civilization. Excitement and nervousness filled the control room. Every crew member felt the weight of responsibility, knowing they were witnessing the first direct acknowledgement from beings far more advanced than humanity. Torres instructed her team to remain calm and observant, their measured approach mirroring the caution and respect the aliens had shown. As the alien ships drew closer, small signals arrived, simple bursts of energy, but unmistakably intelligent. Each pulse was a greeting, a careful acknowledgement that humanity's first transmission had been received and appreciated. Captain Torres coordinated her team to respond carefully, sending faint signals back through Horizon Light's communication arrays. The humans had learned patience and diplomacy, understanding that this was not a time for bold moves or rash gestures. Every signal sent had to demonstrate respect, intelligence, and peaceful intent. Commander Varek observed humanity's response with approval. His officers marveled at how cautious, deliberate, and intelligent the humans were. Lieutenant Zarin commented that they had expected fear or panic, but instead, the humans showed curiosity, patience, and readiness. The Oblivion Star recorded every pattern, every response, building a growing profile of humans. Potential as a species capable of contributing positively to the galaxy. The Council had been right to reconsider its approach. The humans were no longer a potential threat, but a species deserving attention, observation, and eventually trust. Across Earth, the world remained largely unaware of the historic events unfolding above them. Captain Torres and Dr. Carter realized that humanity's first contact would shape the future of their species for generations. Even though governments and military leaders had been quietly monitoring the situation, the public would eventually learn that humans had earned the galaxy's attention through intelligence, courage, and careful diplomacy. The thought filled the crew with pride, knowing they had played a role in humanity's emergence into the broader universe. The alien fleet's smaller ships approached the upper atmosphere of Earth, projecting patterns of light and energy that communicated friendliness and peaceful intent. Humanity watched in awe from space, realizing that the galaxy was not a distant, unreachable place, but a community that could be approached with intelligence, respect, and courage. Captain Torres transmitted a carefully prepared message, acknowledging the reception and expressing a desire for continued communication. Dr. Carter monitored the transmission, ensuring every signal was precise, accurate, and respectful. Every detail mattered, as this exchange could define the relationship between humans and the galaxy for centuries. Commander Virek sent reports to the Council, emphasizing that humans had responded appropriately. Their intelligence, creativity, patience, and courage had impressed the fleet and deserved recognition. Members of the Council who had once advocated caution or even destruction now reconsidered their positions. The humans were capable of diplomacy, learning, and growth, qualities essential for long-term interaction with advanced civilizations. Even the Threxians, the most skeptical members, acknowledged that humanity's potential was extraordinary. They could no longer be ignored, underestimated, or dismissed. For the first time, humans were no longer isolated observers of the stars. They had entered the galactic stage as participants, capable of influencing the perceptions and decisions of civilizations far older and more powerful than themselves. The Lightspire and Dawn Chaser continued delicate maneuvers near Earth, projecting energy signals that mirrored the humans' careful transmissions. Both species were learning about each other, building understanding, patience, and trust. The universe, once vast and distant, had become interactive, a place where a single transmission could bridge the gap between species. On the Horizon Light, Captain Torres looked out at the alien ships, feeling a mixture of pride and awe. Dr. Carter whispered that humanity had done more than survive. It had proven intelligence, courage, and potential. The first human transmission had changed everything, shifting the galaxy's view from fear and suspicion to respect and curiosity. Earth was no longer a target, but a valued participant in a larger cosmic community. The humans had shown that even a small species from a tiny blue planet could inspire reflection, debate, admiration, and trust across the stars. As the alien ship slowly moved away, leaving a faint trail of light against the blackness of space, Commander Virek felt hope for the future. The Council would continue to observe, but their perception of humanity had transformed completely. For humans, the event marked a new beginning, a chance to grow, learn, and one day stand proudly among the stars. The galaxy had listened, acknowledged, and opened the door, and humanity had taken its first courageous step into the wider universe. A single transmission had changed history forever, shaping the destiny of Earth and its people for centuries to come.